Now, there have been reports coming through from Thailand of scuffles between the army and protesters. The army said to be firing tear gas at the anti-government protesters. The government has imposed new security measures in Bangkok to allow the army to break up rallies. A televised address by the Prime Minister Abhisit Vejjajiva said that arrest warrants have been issued for the protest leaders. Let's go now live to Bangkok and Ella Callan. Ella, most of the scuffles we've been hearing from have been coming from the broadcast station just outside of Bangkok. You're in the centre of town. Are you seeing similar action there?
We're not. At the moment, things remain calm, but news is filtering through to this main protest site that the Thaicom building on the outskirts of Bangkok, that is the satellite provider of the Red Shirt TV, which was cut off by the government as part of its state of emergency on Wednesday. We're hearing that tear gas and water cannons have been fired there. There were some brief pictures of that broadcast here before all the stations on Thai television cut programming to read the arrest warrants of the main protest leaders. We're hearing now that things are calm out at the PTV at the Thaicom building and that the minor scuffles that might have broken out between soldiers and protesters now appear to be restoring to calm, although several hundred red shirts remain inside the building.
So, Ella, it seems as if that they have divided up their protest venues in where you are and out by the TV station at Thaicom. What kind of numbers are we talking about where you are? Are these protests the biggest yet, as has been promised?
They're definitely not the biggest yet, as were promised today. The numbers have thinned on the ground here at the main protest site in Bangkok's commercial hub, and that could be because large numbers of them were going to that Thaicom site. We were hearing that there was a bit of a standoff out there, soldiers broadcasting to the protesters and then the protesters broadcasting to the soldiers. It appears that things escalated there before the protesters were able to storm the building. We're not hearing of any injuries or anything like that yet, and certainly the news of exactly what's happening is still filtering down to this main protest site.
And where you are at the main protest site is also where the red shirt leaders have been speaking. Have they reacted to this at all, and what of this threat to arrest them? Have we seen any action on that front?
No, we haven't, and so far the government appears unwilling to crack down on the protest leaders, apart from issuing these warrants, which we've seen them issue before. I think the fear is that as soon as they arrest those main leaders, that another generation of leaders would just step up to the post, and they, in effect, could be more militant than the red shirt leaders that we're seeing. They also don't want to be seen to be the ones to create unrest. They're taking a softly approach in terms of arrests. That may change now that we've seen an escalation in events at the Thaicom building.
All right, Ella, we'll leave that for the moment. Ella Callan in Bangkok, because we can now get the latest from the Thaicom building where those scuffles are going on. Wayne Hay is there and he joins us on the phone. Wayne, what's going on?
Taimur, the protesters burst through the military line a few moments ago into the compound of Thaicom. There was a brief scuffle at the main entrance. They were able to somehow get their way through the razor wire at the front entrance. Once inside the compound, the water cannon was then fired very briefly, I have to say, upon the first row of protesters. The red shirts were easily able to get control of that water cannon and tear the hose off the roof of that truck. And once inside, then we saw a few rounds of tear gas being fired at the crowd as the red shirts advanced. More tear gas came, they retreated. That continued for a few minutes before the military retreated into the corner of the compound where I am now. The army are now down on their knees with their shields, seemingly in a defensive position, saying that they are not going to now fight back. The red shirts have driven their trucks inside the compound and are now face-to-face with those armies. It's early days at this stage, but it seems by looking at the crowd now, they are mingling with some of the military personnel. It would seem unlikely, Taimur, that there would be too many more confrontations here at the moment.
Wayne, what kind of numbers are we talking where you are of both protesters and security forces?
Certainly several thousand, very difficult to say. I mean, even when the red shirts burst through the front entrance to the compound, there was still red shirts streaming down the road towards this area. We're in a very rural part of the outskirts of Bangkok here, surrounded by farms, and there is really only one road that runs alongside the front of the compound. So there were still many people coming, and certainly there seems to be a determination when the first red shirts arrived here that they really wanted to take this protest action to a new level. But I have to say, Tamor, that the military made very little effort to try to stop them at that front gate with all their might, with all their tear gas, their shields, their batons, and a water cannon. They could easily have stopped them getting in, but it was simply a case of applying a bit of pressure, and here we are now with the red shirts well and truly in control of this situation.
Wayne Hay in Bangkok for the moment. Thank you.